Hello, this is a presentation for the Suprema CCURE 9000 integration. We'll start by describing two scenarios in which you will be able to install this integration. The first one, as you can see in your screen, is where you will find the server and client installations in the same machines for CCURE and BioStar at the same time. And the second one, that is also very common, is where you have the server in one PC and you have the CCURE client in other PCs or workstations. So just to have that in mind, if you have the server and client in different PCs, you will need to install the client integration in every PC that you will have installed the CCURE client as well, okay? But the server integration will need to be installed only in the PC or appliance where you have installed the CCURE server and also a BioStar 2 server. That is one of the most important things to mention. The second one is that you need to install as a prerequisite, of course, CCURE and BioStar 2. BioStar 2 needs to be installed in the same PC where the CCURE server it is installed, okay? So you will have both servers installed in the same PC. As you can see in the screen in this use case scenario, we have both of them installed in the same PC just to make easier the exemplification for this installation and configuration. If you have some other questions or you would like to follow a step-by-step guide, please request the installation guide and also the user manual guide from us, and we'll be glad in providing it to you. So we'll start by installing the client installation, just because this installation setup does not require a restart for the machine, and we'll install after that the server installation, because this will require a restart for the PC. So let's start.
And well, after that we have finalized the installation of the integration packages for both the server and the client. We proceed with the configuration. So the first step is that for us to go to any web browser and to write this URL. So the first thing important to notice here is that we are using HTTPS, okay, along with the IP address belonging to the server of the machine where the installation was performed, which is the same CCURE server IP address, along with the HTTPS port. This port is the same as in BioStar 2 server, and here in the application BioStar 2 settings we can double check which port are we using, okay? So that will be something important to notice, and after that /Suprema with capital S, along with that CCURE in capital letters as well, and index HTML. So once we have done that, we access with the admin account that we configured during the BioStar 2 installation. So we type in the login and the password, and the first message that we will see in the screen is non-licensed. As in the screen says, this module hasn't been licensed yet. You won't be able to use it until a proper license is applied. Please contact your vendor. Once we have the license, then we go to settings and activate the license. So there are two ways that we can access this. The first one is through configuration and then system settings, and the second way is directly going through the nav bar here to system settings, okay? So once we have gotten here, we type in the serial number with 20 digits separated by dashes. Once we get that, we type in the name and then we hit activate online. If for some reason your server cannot be activated online, which is the very straightforward process, then we'll go to activate offline. So once we hit this button, then the first step, as it says here, will generate the rec file. And after we got that file, we should send it to our sales representative. So we generate this rec file, and afterwards that we have contacted such provider, then we come back to activate offline, and number 2, we choose the data, and once we have chosen that, we hit open, and then the activation process will be completed. Well, then the expiration will be here, and right after that we can continue configuring. First will be the BioStar 2 service credentials. We test the connection, and once we've got success there, we save the credentials. Afterwards, we can come directly to the CCURE settings. For that, we need to go to the management studio, for example, and we go to properties, and in general, we find the name of the server or the instance, and we come back the port, and we will use here the Windows authentication, but in the case that you may want to use the SQL authentication, then you can use that too. What you have to make sure in order to make make use of the SQL authentication is that you have to go to again the properties, and then you go to security, and you select the SQL server and Windows authentication mode. That will be the first thing that you have to activate, and the second thing to make sure that in security logins, the user that you're going to use here to access the secure database, it will be allowed to do that. Okay, so we'll continue with the Windows authentication, and again we test the connection, and then we save the credentials. Right, so yeah, another thing that we can mention here is that we have other license activation. So for example, if you are going to use the auto enrollment kiosk feature, then you may make use of this field to activate the server license. Okay, and also for the devices license, you may use this to load the SDG files to complete the activation, the offline activation for the devices. If you are connected to the internet, then you do not need something special here. All the process will be carried out completely automatically. Okay, so the GUI, it is available in English and Spanish at this time, and we can configure here a time for the session timeout. So once we have gotten all that data configured, we just come back here to revise the status of BioStar 2 service, and we find that everything is well. The next step in the configuration is that you may go to the device menu. We have these two features for searching for devices, either a normal search or an advanced search. So we go first to the normal search, and we find these 3 devices. So we'll select 2, and then we will add the 3rd one using the advanced search. Okay, so let us remain with the base station F2. So it's important here to see that we will see the ID, the device ID, and also the flag for the configuration. It's important to notice that if for some reason the configure flag is not set to true, then we need to factory reset the device so that when the integration is loading it, it will be configured automatically, okay, in order for it to work normally. Okay, so let's move on to make a advanced search, and it will be finding the device, and then we complete the steps. Right, so all these were automatically configured, and everything's fine. Then the second step after adding the devices, it will be coming to configuration and then car formats. This is very important. We will configure here a global facility code, and for example, if we do not have any WGAN format, then we may only make use of the MIFARE format of 32 bits, which is the fallback format. If for some reason the integration cannot create the card in any of the WGAN formats here listed, it will be created as a default format in the 32 bits. Okay, otherwise we will just select the WGAN format that we want to use, but for the sake of this demonstration, we will use the 26-bit. Okay, so it's important to notice that once we hit save and the process has been completed, all that connected, the online devices at the time, they will be configured with these settings. So, right, so these will allow us to have a easy configuration, very much a plug and play of devices against the iStar panel. Okay, so right after that, we go to the users menu, and in here in the users menu, we'll see all the users present in CCURE at this time. It's important to mention that this menu, it is meant for massive operations only, okay, because all the day-to-day operations, we will be doing them from the CCURE administration workstation, okay, from the personal view. But before we go there, let me just describe a use case scenario here. Let's say that we are installing this integration along with the Suprema devices, with the biometrics of Suprema devices, within a site that had already some time using CCURE only. Okay, so we intend to make a quick deployment of the biometrics of Suprema biometrics. So if in the case that, you see, we have 12 users here, but in real cases scenarios we will encounter with companies that have over 1,000 or probably 10,000 or even 100,000 users already. So it is not very feasible to be enrolling one by one of those users. Then these specific menu is meant for such massive operations. Okay, so what we should do here, we come to the pre-enrollment, so you will see that in Suprema there are no users yet. Okay, so what we can do here is that we select all the users at once, and then we hit sync. So here we will see that the sync process has been started between CCURE and between the Suprema devices. So we'll see here the advancement of the stages, and once the sync has been completed, then we will be offered with a report here that we can actually go ahead and see it. Once we have downloaded this report, then we will be able to open and to see the content. Okay, so this is the content for the report, and what we see here is first user ID and then the status code for the sync process. So as it is described in the title of the column, if we got a 200 code, means that everything went okay. Otherwise we'll get the error code, and let's say that instead of getting 200 in everything, we'll get just 400. Then it'll be easy for us to come just uncheck all the successful syncs, and we'll come only to the unsuccessful, and then it will be very easily for us to see which user ID was not properly synchronized. Then we can go case by case and make the troubleshooting for some specific users. Then that's the first thing, the user sync. And similarly at this, we'll have also the capability of using the CCURE images for the facial pre-enrollment. And in the case that you are not familiarized with the term that Suprema has about facial pre-enrollment, that means that we use a 2D image as an input to start the process of enrollment, and once the user comes physically in front of the device by the first time, the device will be finishing the enrollment process, taking all the 3D data and adding all the capabilities and Suprema. Okay, so that's the first thing that we need to activate in order for us to activate this process as well. Then once we have gotten the first stage in the enrollment, that you see that we'll have here the first set of things, that we'll see that we have cards, but we do not have faces yet. But once we have completed the process, the synchronization process, we can come back and see that all the users who had a facial image in CCURE as a profile image, they have gotten one facial credential as pre-enrollment. Okay, so let us go back here and let us check the available report. And again, making the same exercise as we did first, then we see that the user's ID that have worked are here, and the status code for them are here, saying that all the process with all users that actually had a profile image, as we see here, the ID number 5002 did not have one, so that user is not meant to be listed here. As we see, it's not actually here, so everything is correct. So again, in case that for some reason we do not get a full successful process, then we'll be able to filter out the results for those users and then to solve these issues one by one. Okay, so again, here it says that it's the sync for the pre-enrollment, the facial pre-enrollment, right? So once we have finished all these massive operations, then we can finally understand that we have set and have implemented successfully the first step in the integration. Then let us go to CCURE and see the operations that we will be performing in the day by day. Right. So here in the personal, we have until now this amount of users. Then let us create a new user for us to see how this works. Of Suprema. We save credentials. We will enroll a credential from Suprema devices, and first step is that we will test only with the clearance of the Access Station X2. We save the data here. We do not have any facial data yet, and in the current view we'll be selecting the Suprema Biometrics Enrollment view, right? So once we've got this current view, we'll have the Suprema tab. We go and we need to just come here now. Right away, the integration will be taking care of synchronizing the user with the Suprema device. So as we said, we will be configuring or enrolling a card for this user. We can use any of these devices. I will be using the BioStation 3 just for enrolling right now. So let me scan the data. Alright, so we have gotten here the card number and also the automatic format recognition from the device. So we enroll here the data, and once we have enrolled the data, we saved here all, and we get also the capability of managing the card that has been enrolled. And if we come back to CCURE, then we'll see that the integration takes care of also synchronizing back to CCURE, not only to Suprema. So the first test that we can actually make is using this, and we see right that making use of the Station 2, we have gotten a good authorization. And if we don't have the Station F2 door already, so we will try it. And actually we got rejected by the clearance, which is correct. And let us add the clearance for the F2, and right after that we come back again, and then we have the admission. Okay, so that's the first completed step. Afterwards, we can come and we can add a fingerprint. So let me select this one. And important thing to see is that the Roman minimum quality is set to 90. So we will see here that we got that all verifications run okay, because all the premises were completed also. As you see, the quality of this first scan was 100 and the 97 for the second one. But if some, let's say that we put this to the maximum and we try to scan again, and I'll try to make a lower quality, yeah. So here we can see that the scan did not meet the minimum quality requirement, so the integration asked us to repeat the process. Then we will be going back and repeating the process. We will be lowering this to the default, which is 90, and we'll try again just to see all the considerations and validations that the integration actually do. Okay, so this is being done to ensure that the data, the biometrics data, is being registered with the maximum amount of confidence. Okay, so after that we can also make the comparison that we are getting two different scans for the same finger as a security measure. That, for example, if in some case I'll be coming and I'll be repeating the scanning process, but I will use a second finger to the second scan, and it says that the fingerprint verification failed because I need to use the same finger. So the devices, the Suprema devices, are able to identify that I am not actually using the same fingerprint. So now we will make the exercise of trying to enroll the same finger twice again. And then the integration will also tell us that that finger is already registered to the same user. That in case that the finger is belonging to another person, then it will say that belongs to another user. Okay, it doesn't actually says who for security concerns, but it would be enough to say that it belongs to other user to know that we cannot enroll that. Okay, so we've gotten the data we needed, and we tested once again. And yeah, we got the proper activation. Alright, so after that we'll come to the facial, and I will be enrolling my face directly from the device, and we will test. I'll select the Station F2 and I scan the face. Okay, so we enroll the face directly from the device. The process is most instant, and I'll come and try to make the authentication. So you see that I have already got the proper activation for that. Then we'll go here, and I will just delete this. I'll come and I will use another picture of myself, load the picture, save the data, and we will see what the integration will do. So here you see that automatically the integration recognizes whether or not the profile, the user profile, has already a facial credential. If the integration recognizes that I don't have a facial credential, then it will attempt to create a facial credential, a pre-enrollment facial credential, using this input that I have from CCURE. Okay, so how can I deactivate this if I am not intending of using it? I will delete the face so that we can see that. We come to the integration, to the users, and I deactivate this option. If I deactivate this option, if I come back here, even though I may have the picture here under the images for the user profile, it will be not performed. and even if I come here and face and I try to use it from here, it will not be available either. Okay, so in order for us to utilize this option, we need to activate it globally from the configuration tool, the Suprema CCURE integration configuration tool. Okay, so let us go back, and we'll see that automatically it created that credential, and if I try to see here from here, will be also available. Okay, so now that I have used an input image, then you'll see how the device will behave. Probably you could not appreciate all the process, but it takes just a bit longer the first time, because as we said, the first time the device completes the template from the user's faces, but right after it have done that, then the consecutive authentications are much faster. You see. Alright, so just to show the variations here, as I have said before, let me make a test with some other person's picture. So we load the image here and we save the changes. As I previously said, as the integration have already recognized that I have some facial template here, it will not overwrite those data, but if I delete the facial template here, you see checking out that this is the current image that I'm using, then the integration will come automatically and will make use or attempt to use that picture. One of the cases that I can mention here, actually the analysis that the integration runs on the image, is first trying to see if there is an actual human face within the image. That's the first filter. If there is no, then the picture will be discarded. But if the first step is completed, then the next analysis that is being run there is that it will analyze how good is the face of the person. If it cannot be automatically improved, even sharpened, or upscale or downscaled, then it will refuse to use that image, but otherwise it will attempt to using it, and as we have seen here, it actually could make use of that person's image, right? So if I said, all right, so I want to work directly uploading a users from here, then I can also make use of that, and as you see, the integration will try to see if there is an actual person image there. If there is no, then the image will be discarded, and if there is, then it will allow us to run just a crop process here with double click and then to unroll the face, and then we'll get here the person's image, in this case this lady that we have found. But also we can make use of the sending by image. But if I said again that I don't want that image and I want to make use again of the same picture that I had before, then I can repeat the process from here. I'm using the whole picture here just to show you that the integration takes care of analyzing everything. And I'll say that I want to use the profile image from CCURE. Then the integration will overwrite the information that I previously had. Okay, and again, if I do that and perform, the authentication, everything went well from here. Okay, so with this, we are concluding the demonstration. If you guys have some other question, please feel free to send us that information, and we will support you there. You can contact us through the email latam@supremainc.com, and we'll be thrilled to support you in whatever need you might have. So thank you for your time. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.